Hello once again, grade 5 learners, grade 5 parents, and even grade 5 teachers. Welcome to English with Jerry Java. Now we are on our fourth week 4 of English 5, quarter 1, week 4, days 1 to 5. Our objectives for this week: making predictions and drawing conclusions. A. Predict characters' possible decisions or actions. B. Draw conclusions from story events and character interactions. C. Express conclusions and predictions in a culturally and gender-sensitive and age-appropriate manner. Listen to the title of the book, then look at the pictures to guess what you will see inside the book. That's the first title and first picture about the book. Where did all the fireflies go? Second picture, the white shoes. What's your idea about those? What could be the story about? Another one, read the following scenarios. Determine what event is likely to occur next. What might happen next? If you are going to continue the story, what do you think will happen next? Scenario 1, let me read it for you. During a camping trip, Christy and Joel find themselves lost in the forest after straying from the designated trail. Christy, an experienced hiker, reassures Joel that she knows the way back to the campsite. However, as dusk approaches, they realize they have been walking in circles. What might happen next? What event is most likely to occur next? Scenario 2. At a board game night, Mary and Ross playfully compete in a game of strategy and skill. As the game progresses, tension builds between them, fueled by playful taunts and strategic moves. What might happen next? Scenario 3. During a school field trip to the zoo, Sophia and Liam spot a mischievous monkey swinging from tree to tree in the primate exhibit. The monkey seems to be eyeing the banana snacks in Sophia's backpack, much to her amusement and Liam's concern. What might happen next? Scenario 4. During a craft session, Olivia and Ethan are making friendship bracelets for each other. As they weave colorful threads together, they discuss their favorite colors and designs, sharing stories of friendship and laughter. What might happen next? And lastly, scenario 5. In a classroom, Lily and Max are looking out the window during English class. They noticed dark clouds gathering in the sky and a few raindrops start to fall. What might happen next? Okay, for us to fully really understand our lessons and some of the stories, you have to know these words. So we have to unlock the following vocabularies. We have prediction, conclusion, textual evidence, monster, and tale. Prediction means it is a statement about what you think will happen in the future. Conclusion, the opinion or judgment you have after considering all the information or facts about something. Textual evidence, this is a proof from a text in order to prove that the information is really true and accurate. And monster, it's any imaginary frightening creature, especially one that is large and strange. And tale, it's a story, especially the one that might be invented or difficult to believe. Okay, you are going to read the story and answer the questions that follow. The Loving Monster, a heartwarming tale by Mary Ross T. Castañares. One morning, the child woke up from his long sleep because of the hammering and banging on the veranda. He exited the bed, rubbed his eyes, and went downstairs to see where the sounds came from. As he neared the front door, he found his father squatting over a broken lawn mower. The boy was used to seeing things like this. His father was always fixing things. They could be a leaking roof or a broken appliance. He was a man of few words, or maybe he was not just interested. Good morning, father. Despite the noise and the early hour, Bastet greeted his father pleasantly. His father gave a fleeting glance up, his look uncommunicative, before returning to his work without saying anything. Bastet sighed and went into the kitchen to prepare breakfast. His father entered the room and wiped his hands with a rag. Eat up and get ready for school, his father responded casually. What event is most likely to occur next? Then, please provide a textual evidence. Textual evidence is that word or words, lines from that story that gives you the answer, the clue. Then, shall we continue? The child nodded, used to his father's relaxed approach. He quickly completed his meal and went upstairs to prepare for the day. As he packed his books and backpack, he felt disappointed by his father's lack of interest in him. Despite this overwhelming motion, Bastet went to school. As he entered the classroom, he noticed his teacher carrying a poster. The billboard advertised tryouts for a school play, and they were looking for cast members. Bastet's eyes widened with enthusiasm as the teacher described each character in detail. The teacher described a brave and daring hero leading the group on a mission to defend the kingdom from an evil sorcerer. Bastet's heart beat with anticipation as he pictured himself as a hero, carrying a sword and confronting danger head-on. What do you think will happen next? Then support it with your textual evidence. It's that line or word or words from that story. Let's continue with the story. As the teacher continued to describe the other characters, Pastel's mind raced with ideas. There was a wise old wizard, a crafty thief, a mighty warrior, and a caring princess. Each character possessed distinct characteristics, and Bastet could not wait to bring them to life on stage. The teacher encouraged students to audition for any role they were interested in, and Bastet immediately decided that he wanted to play the monster, the story's central character. He spent the remainder of the day practicing his lines and honing his swordplay, hoping to please the casting directors. What event is most likely to occur next? Of course, you are going to provide your textual evidence. Let's continue. When audition day arrived, Bastet stood uncomfortably before the casting panel. As he delivered his words with passion and conviction, a thrill of excitement circulated through his veins. Bastet was overjoyed when the casting directors announced that he had been cast as the monster. The sessions were intense and challenging, but Bastet embraced his role with passion and enthusiasm. He worked tirelessly on his performance, immersing himself in the play's atmosphere and bringing his character to life with each line he spoke. However, his delight quickly changed to concern when he realized that the costume required for the play was beyond his family's budget. Feeling discouraged, Bastet confided in his cousin, who encouraged him to discuss his problems with his father. Bastet reluctantly discussed his concerns with his father, expecting rejection or a scolding. What event is most likely to occur next? Do you think Baste will really tell his problems, his concern to his dad? Yes or no? Why? Then provide some evidence from the text. To his amazement, Baste's father listened intently but said nothing, convincing himself he could never participate in the play, and he went to sleep. That night he could not believe what he witnessed. A large dark shadow that resembled a monster working. It was barely a glimpse, yet it sent chills down his spine. "Who are you?" Baste yelled. "What do you want?" Baste shouted and was jolted awake by his father's hand. "Someone was on the veranda last night, father," Basti said, his eyes trying to persuade his father. His father responded indifferently, "Eat up and get ready for school." What event is most likely to occur next? Provide your textual evidence. Directions: read the short paragraph below and answer the questions that follow on the separate sheet. And this is another story. The class was playing kickball on the school field. They had so much fun with the classmates. When the ball flew into the air, Tony quickly ran to catch it. Instead of catching the ball, it hit Tony's head. Tony fell to the ground. Tony's teacher rushed to pick and take him to the school nurse. What do you think is the ending of the story? Another one, draw a symbol. It's an icon symbol that would reflect your takeaways or your insight or what did you learn on the lesson and the story you read. Write 3 sentences explaining your drawing. Here's another task, infer the feelings or think about the feelings of the following characters. What can you say about them? Write the letter that corresponds to your answer on a separate sheet. 1. Jack's parents gave him money for his birthday. He decided to give it to the children for food in the homeless center. How do you think Jack feeling? A. Happy. B. Kind. C. Sad. D. Worried. Jack is feeling kind. My little brother John is patiently waiting for mom and dad to show his report card in the living room. How do you think John's feeling? A. Afraid. B. Excited. C. Tired. D. Worried. Why do you think John patiently waits to show his report card? He might be, letter B, excited. Maybe he got really big grades. 3. While sweeping the dried leaves at our backyard, a snake appears in front of Daisy. What can you infer about Daisy's feeling? There was a snake. A. Afraid. B. Excited. C. Happy. D. Tired. That is A. Afraid. 4. Ben got the highest score in their examination. How do you think Ben feeling? A. Happy. B. Sad. C. Tired. D. Worried. It's A. Happy. 5. It's past 12 noon. Chloe haven't eaten her lunch. How do you think Chloe feeling? A. Afraid. B. Drowsy. C. Hungry. D. Tired. It's letter C. Hungry. Hello, welcome back. It's English 5, week 4. This is our day 2. Still, we will be talking about making predictions and drawing conclusions. Let us learn together from this passage. Tita Maria was nowhere to be seen, but that did not bother him, for it was Sunday, and the work in the south field was finished. However, he missed the pleasant aroma which came from the kitchen every time he woke up early in the morning. Based on the story, you can guess that, or you can predict that, on Sundays it is usual for Tia Maria to be out of the house. What helps you to guess the correct answer? You have to look for clue words from that, except from that passage. We call that the textual evidence. It's the phrase nowhere to be. Is it the phrase nowhere to be seen? Yeah, these are your clues. First, nowhere to be seen. It was Sunday. He missed the pleasant aroma when he woke up. These phrases or groups of words are called signals or clues, which you can see directly, really written on the text or passage. These are the textual evidence. They help us understand the events and finally draw conclusions. Conclusions are guesses or decisions based on the events. There are bases for your conclusions. On the second night, he saw more. The head was huge, with glaring red eyes that seemed to go straight through him. He could not take his gaze away from it, even if his instincts warned him to escape. The following day, Bastet told his friend the story. That's true. I asked him what he wanted, but he just said, Bastet began, preparing to imitate the beast. I am the guardian of this land. Bastet talked in a deep, rumbling voice. I protect it from those who would harm it, Beste added. But where is it? Is it at your house right now? Can we see it? Beste's friend said, still in astonishment. Beste sighed and remarked, I didn't see him when I woke up this morning. Maybe because it was just a dream, Beste's friend said, laughing at him. Beste was slightly annoyed by his friend since he did not trust his stories, but perhaps he was simply dreaming. What event is most likely to occur next? When we have this part, when we predict the next thing that's going to happen, we are going to base it. We have to study the last sentence or the last thing that happened. Then, of course, to provide evidences, proof, your clues or your hints. Do you think from that part, Baste's friend would believe him, or was he just really dreaming? Baste was slightly annoyed by his friend since he did not trust his stories, but perhaps he was simply dreaming. For the third time, he glimpsed its body. It was big and muscular, with sharp claws capable of tearing through anything in its path. He felt a sense of horror sweep over him as he understood how powerful this thing was. Well, he remembered what it had said about his noble quest. But why do you appear so frightening? Why do you scare people away? Baste enthusiastically asked the creature. Baste, these are not your lines. You are daydreaming again, his teacher observed, patting his shoulder. They were practicing for the play. By the fourth night, he noticed it moving. It was slow and systematic, and each stride caused tremors. He could hear its heavy breathing, like a beast about to pounce on its prey. Now, could you guess what event is likely to occur next? And of course, provide textual evidence or clues or hints, words really written from the story. Shall we continue? He awoke one morning. From that last part, Bastet told that story to his teacher, and the teacher said that those were out of the lines. He awoke one morning and blinked his eyes several times, attempting to make sense of what he had seen. A creature stood before him. Its sharp teeth glinted in the dawn light, and its claws were dangerous. He screamed, his heart racing in his chest. But then he spotted his father. He was holding the creature with amusement on his face. "What are you doing, father? You scared me half to death," screamed the child, relief washing over him as he grasped the truth. His father chuckled slightly, but did not want to cross his emotions as he placed down the monster costume. His father responded casually, "Eat up and get ready for school." "We will bring your costume for your dress rehearsal." His father smiled and added. Buste had no idea that the shadow he saw was his father, who was working feverishly on his play costume. Night after night, Buste's father worked hard, cutting and sewing fabric to bring the monster man to life. 2 weeks before the play, Buste was astounded to see the costume his father had mightily made for him. With tears in his eyes, Buste hugged his father warmly, moved by the act of love and sacrifice. Finally, the day of the performance came. As Buste waited backstage in his homemade outfit, he experienced a wave of confidence and gratitude. What event is most likely to occur next? And of course, provide a textual evidence. As the curtains were drawn back, Baste entered the stage, his eyes wide with astonishment. The set was a lovely forest with shimmering lights and vibrant flowers covering the stage. Bastet took a big breath and started reciting his lines, his voice loud and clear. The story of the loving monster unfolded in front of the audience, telling of friendship and bravery. Bastet's performance was captivating. His movements were graceful and his expressions were convincing. The audience was intrigued and hung on to his every word. The play was a huge success with laughter, acclaim, and steadfast support from his family and community. Buster's heart swelled with pride as he played the role of the loving monster, bringing delight to everyone who watched. As a result, the story of the loving monster became a village legend representing resilience, kindness, and the power of love. Buster discovered that sometimes the greatest monsters are not those we fear, but those who love us unconditionally and support us through life's difficulties. As the performance ended, Buster realized he would always have a loving monster leading him through life's ups and downs. And, full of gratitude, Buster said a silent thank you to his father, the real hero of his narrative. What event is most likely to occur next? How would his father react? And course, of course, provide a textual evidence. We have here an activity. The direction says identify the correct prediction or guess in every situation. Write the letter corresponding your answer on a separate sheet. 1. What happens when Mark gets home from school? A. He puts his backpack away. B. He takes bread from the cupboard. C. He sleeps without changing his clothes. D. He takes peanut butter and jelly from the fridge. What usually happens when you would get home from school? What's the next thing that happens? You usually put back, put your backpack away. Letter A. Number two, what happens when the sky gets dark? What's going to happen next? A, the rainbow appears. B, the sun stops shining. C, the wind starts to blow. D, the dark clouds suddenly appear. The next thing that happens is letter D, the dark clouds suddenly appear. Then it might rain afterwards. Three, Anna and Jake water the mango tree every day. A, the tree will die. B, the tree will grow. C, the tree will be rotten. D, the tree will not grow. That's B, the tree will grow. Infer the traits of the characters. How can you describe these characters based on what they say or what they do, what they act? One, Joseph washed and arranged the plates with his mother after meal. Joseph was A, confident, B, helpful, C, playful, or D, polite. Joseph was doing the household chores. Joseph was B, helpful. Two, Sophia took his sick dog to the veterinary clinic. Sophia was A, caring, B, energetic, C, helpful, D, thankful. Sophia was A, caring. Three, Ben saw an old lady struggling to carry her heavy bags, so he offered to carry them for her. Ben was A, confident, B, energetic, C, helpful, D, polite. That's C, helpful. 4. Jen returned the wallet she found in the library to the owner. Jen was A, active, B, confident, C, honest, D, generous. Jen was letter C, honest. 5. Grace quietly sat down at the back corner of the room. She opened her book and began to read, avoiding eye contact with those around her. Grace was A, confident, B, friendly, C, generous, D, shy. Grace was avoiding eye contact. She doesn't want to see people. So she was D, shy. That's all for day 2. Now we're on English 5, week 4, day 3. Still about making predictions and drawing conclusions. This time, let's find out if you can answer these exercises. After breakfast, Seema called his son Pastor aside. "What's the news?" she called. "Can people now go through to San Anton?" Pastor shook his head. Be on the lookout for someone coming from town," she begged. "You might hear something new." "I'll go to town myself. Your father might get angry." Pastor looked deep into his mother's eyes. "I don't care," he said quietly. "From now on, I'll go to town." 1. From the air of secrecy in the way Pastor and his mother talked, you would conclude that A. They're planning to do something. B. They're eager to hear about someone new, someone who couldn't pass through Santa Monica or San Anton. C. Both mother and son are afraid. Pastor and his mother were trying to be secret. They're hiding something. It could be that they are planning to do something. Two, you can further conclude that they are A, in a barrio, B, in the town, C, in San Anton. Three, from what Pastor said, you can infer that A, his father had forbidden him to go to town. B, his mother is right. C, Pastor was afraid of his father. It could be that A, his father did not allow him. Okay, let's talk about prediction. What's a prediction? A prediction is a guess. It's a studied guess. It's an educated guess. You don't just guess about something without thinking so much about your guess. We make predictions all the time in our daily lives. The process involves taking information or clues and then using that to make a guess about what might or what will happen next. It shows an understanding of what we are reading and helps develop our imagination and thinking skills. Hey, so are we still up for dinner tonight? Yeah, where do you want to go? Where do you think they will eat for dinner? Would you know? Directions. Answer the following questions based on your understanding of the text by completing the table below. Start your answer with the phrase, I believe. Or in my class, I tell them to use I think or I believe because you're not so sure because you're just predicting or guessing. Question. How does Baste's father typically respond to him in the morning? And how does Baste feel about this? Usually his father was, I believe that his father was nonchalant, maybe a little indifferent. Then textual, Baste would feel maybe sad about the way his father would reply to him. Textual evidence, it's in the story. The indifferent, the way his father would talk to him like, eat up and go for school. Why does Baste decide to audition for the role of the monster in the school play? I believe that Baste would wanted to audition for the school play because he has a wide imagination. He wanted to be the main character. Three, what challenges does Baste face in preparing for the play, and how does he overcome them? There was one challenge, and it was about the costume, the monster costume, and he believed that his parents could not afford the cost. Four, describe Baste's initial reaction to seeing the monster outside his house at night. How does his perception of the monster change over time? He was really afraid. Five, how does Baste's friend react when he tells him about seeing the monster? What does this reveal about Baste's relationship with his friend? Uh, Baste's friend was, he did not really believe, right? He thought that Baste was just dreaming. How does Baste's father demonstrate his love and support for him throughout the story, especially as regards the school play? His father was actually the one who crafted the monster costume. He silently loved his son. Discuss the significance of the monster costume that Baste's father makes for him. How does it symbolize their relationship and the theme of love in the story? The monster costume symbolizes the hero, and Baste's father was actually the hero of his life. What lessons does Baste learn from his experience with the school play? he learned a lot about that monsters are heroes. It doesn't matter if people would see you as something bad, something thought they think of you as something bad. So it's how you, it's your purpose, it's your intention that counts. Another one, give at least one prediction in every situation. Write your answer in a complete sentence on a separate sheet of paper. I believe you have to start with I think or I believe. 1. Jed was carrying many plates to the kitchen. While walking, he slipped on the floor. What will happen next? The plates, the dishes will fall and on the floor and they will break. 2. Give your prediction based on the picture presented below. Now we're going to look for the picture. Why is it important to consider the character's personality and motivations when making, there was no picture, when making predictions about their decisions or actions? 2. How can making predictions about characters' decisions or actions deepen our understanding of stories? They let us understand the story better. 3. What strategies and skills did you learn during this lesson that can help you? It's about the skill of making predictions and making conclusions. Read the following questions and answer them based on your predictions and conclusions. Number 1. What if Bastei had never decided to audition for the school play? How could his life have been different or changed? 2. What if Bastei's father had not been able to make the monster costume for him? How might Bastei have felt and how might the story have unfolded differently? 3. What if Bastei's father had revealed his efforts to make the monster costume for him earlier in the story? How might this have affected Bastei's feelings and motivations leading up to the performance? 4. What if Bastei had encountered challenges or obstacles during the actual performance of the play? How might he have responded? And how might this have influenced the audience's perception of his character? 5. What if the school play had not been successful? Or if Bastei's performance had not been well received by the audience? How might this have impacted Bastei's feelings of accomplishment and his relationship with his family and classmates? Thank you. That's for day 3. English 5, week 4, day 4. Same thing. It's about making predictions and drawing conclusions. Instructions: write T if the statement is true and F if it is false. Only T or F. 1. A child should only appreciate their own culture. That's F. You should be open to other culture and try to understand. 2. Both, that's F. Number 2, both boys and girls can lead group projects effectively. That is T. Number 3, crying is a sign of weakness, especially for boys. That is F. Boys have feelings too, so they can cry. 4, children can make respectful predictions about others by observing kindly. That's T. 5, respecting cultural practices helps or traditions helps build a peaceful classroom. That's T. Now let's talk about what a conclusion is. A conclusion is a final decision based on the summing up of the main points. When you gather all your data, all the facts, all the information from the story that you have also known, of course, when you make a conclusion, it's facts plus your experience or experiences from other people, from what you've learned or what you know. After reading the selection, choose the phrase or clause or group of words that you think best concludes it. Copy the letter of the correct answer on your answer sheet. Because of childhood experience, my response to the request of a beggar has always been governed by my emotions. 1. The speaker probably A is still a child, B is rich and young, C is already old, D is beautiful and has a beautiful soul. The speaker probably is already old. 2. You can guess that his attitude towards beggars after that experience will be A, pity, B, accompanied with deep concern, C, indifference, D, intense happiness. It's letter C, indifference, like there is no love. After looking at these things, I believe that our school canteen should operate a lunch counter. 3. You can conclude that A, the speaker is a boy, B, the manager of the canteen already studied the problem, C, the speaker has many beliefs, D, the speaker is in fantasy. That's letter B. 4. You can further conclude that A, the school does not have a lunch counter yet, B, the school operates a nice canteen, C, the speaker wants to operate the school canteen, D, the speaker wants to sell the canteen. That's letter A, they don't have a lunch counter yet. Directions: predict or guess what will happen next to the following situations. Write your answer on the blank provided. 1. There are no choices. Fiona was caught playing in the rain for a number of hours. What do you think will likely happen to Fiona? Fiona might get sick after. 2. Nicole was prepared for a dance performance on a program. What do you think will likely happen to Nicole? Because she was really prepared, probably she will have a good performance. Then audiences might agree. Might clap their hands. 3. Carla eats junk foods every day. She uses to throw its wrappers on the drainage canal in front of their house. What will likely happen to Carla? She might probably get sick. 4. Cyrus was telling his friends. Okay, well, Cyrus was telling his friends, your dad's here. Okay. Yeah, po. Cyrus was telling his friends a very funny story. What do you predict his friends did next? His friends might be laughing. 5. Mother cooked food. After a few minutes, father set the foods on the table. Her daughter prepared the plates, spoons, and forks. What do you think will they do next? Probably they will eat. Directions in the exercise below, several facts are given, followed by two conclusions. Write A or B for the correct conclusion. There you are going to choose which one is correct. 1. Yeast is made up of tiny specks that reproduce themselves in a certain way. Things that reproduce themselves in this way are living things. Therefore, a tiny speck is a living thing. B. Yeast is a living thing. That's letter B. 2. Certain germs not found in healthy chickens were found in chickens with cholera. When these germs were added to a broth given to healthy chickens, those chickens usually died from cholera. When these germs were not added to the same broth which was given to healthy chickens, those chickens remained healthy chickens. Therefore, A. Cholera in chickens is caused by germs that usually kill the chickens. B. Cholera in chickens is usually caused by taking chicken broth. That's A. Cholera in chickens is caused by germs that usually kill the chickens. 3. As germs grow and divide in a liquid, they cause changes in that liquid. Certain germs were found in good wine that had turned sour to the taste. These germs were not found in good wine that remained good. Therefore, A. When good wine tastes sour, it doesn't have germs. B. The growth and division of certain germs in wine caused good wine to turn sour. That's letter B. 4. Strong rabies germs usually develop in people bitten by mad dogs. People usually die from strong rabies germs. After weak germs have lived in an animal, the animal will not be made sick by the strong germs of the same disease. People react to germs in the same way as animals. Therefore, a people bitten by mad dogs may not die if they are given weak rabies germs before the strong rabies germs develop. The weak rabies germs usually protect people from being bitten by mad dogs. That's A. 1. Think of a real-life scenario where you or someone you know had to make a difficult decision. Describe the decision and the possible actions that could have been taken. 2. Choose a character from a book or movie and explain how their decisions or actions affected the outcome of the story. Do you believe they were right or wrong in that decision? Thank you. That's for day 4. Now we're on English 5, week 4, day 5. Same thing about making predictions and drawing conclusions. As you notice from day 4, we actually inserted Science facts. Although we are talking about learning about English, we are also learning about other subjects, other learning areas. From that example, we learned about germs, about anything science. Instructions. Read the situation and write a conclusion or prediction that is respectful and appropriate. Be polite. 1. Julia sees her classmate praying differently before lunch. What can she conclude about her classmate's practice? I believe you need to have your own answer. Be polite, be respectful. Remember that people have differences according to religion, to race, to status, to gender. 2. A class invites an elder from the ETA community to talk about their traditions. What can you predict about the students' reaction? 3. Tim helps his youngest sister join in their soccer game. What can we conclude about Tim? Remember that his sibling is his sister. It's a lady, but he allowed. He helps his younger sister. 4. Boys and girls are grouped to clean different areas of the school. What do you think will happen? 5. A student speaks Tagalog at home but learns English and Ilocano at school. What conclusion can you make about the language? Instructions. Match the situation in column A with the appropriate conclusion, proper conclusion or prediction in column B. Write the letter of your answer. Column A, column B. In column a girl dreams of becoming a pilot. 2. Students share their family's traditional recipes. 3. A boy joins a cooking contest. 4. A class invites a Muslim elder to speak about Eid. 5. Children of different tribes perform in a dance program. Column B. A. Respect for cultures and learning is promoted. B. Girls can pursue careers they are passionate about. C. Boys can be good at cooking too. D. Children can learn about different religions. E. All children can express their culture equally. So let's have that. A girl dreams of becoming a pilot. Although most of the pilots are for boys, girls can also do that too, right? So what's our conclusion? That's another. B. Girls can pursue careers they are passionate about. Next, students share their family's traditional recipes. Students. That's A. Respect for cultures and learning is promoted. 3. A boy joins a cooking contest. That's C. Boys can be good at cooking too. 4. A class invites a Muslim elder to speak about Eid. So that's about religion. Where is that? D. Children can learn about different religions. 5. Children of different tribes perform in a dance program. Letter E. All children can express their culture equally. Directions. Read each item, then choose the best conclusion which you can draw from it, which you can make from it. Copy the letter of your answer on your paper. 1. A mouse trap baited with a piece of cheese held a little mouse the next day. A. The bait of all traps is usually cheese. B. Mice like cheese. C. Mice can easily be caught. That's letter B. Most of the mice like cheese. 2. Aling Rita was worried because it would soon be the town fiesta. It was a family custom to prepare delicious food for visitors, and when her parents died, she had kept the custom. But early that year, her son had met an accident, and she had to borrow money for the hospital bills. Aling Rita was worried because she might not have money for the fiesta to prepare for the food and drinks for the visitors. Okay, let's have this. There are choices. A. Her house was too small to accommodate the guests. B. Her son was sick. C. She had no money for the food she had to prepare. That's letter C. 3. It is advisable to use sunglasses only when needed. Using sunglasses more often than needed prevents the pupils, part of your eye, from reacting naturally and makes the eyes more sensitive. The person spoken to, A, needs to wear sunglasses. B, wants to buy a pair of sunglasses. C, is always wearing sunglasses. That's B, wants to buy a pair of sunglasses. 4. Participation or joining of school pupils in the national sports competition like Palarong Pambansa has been found to be giving more harm than good. The sports fest poses danger to children, especially in games where much physical exertion is needed. The speaker, A, does not believe in children participating in athletics. B, wants that sports competition for children be limited to within the school and province. C, believes that national sports competitions are dangerous. That's letter C. 5. Each child in the family is encouraged to speak up and exchange ideas with his parents and elders. A. Then the children will be good speakers. B. A better relationship will exist between the children and the adults. C. Children will grow up ready to fight for their rights. That's letter B. A better relationship will exist between the children and the adults because children are heard, because we believe that children have their own views too, and they have to be listened up and they have to be heard. Instructions: read the situation, write your own conclusion or prediction that is respectful and polite and age appropriate. 1. Leia and her friends are planning a cultural day where they will wear traditional clothes from different regions. What might happen? 2. A class invites a senior citizen, an old man or woman, to speak about traditional Filipino games. What can you conclude? 3. During group work, a boy and a girl are assigned to present together. What can you say about this team? 4. A young boy wants to become a nurse when he grows up. What can you predict? 5. Some students learn greetings from other languages like Maranao, Cebuano, or Ilocano. What might they learn? Instructions. Read the short situations below. Then answer the question that follows each. Think critically and answer in 1 to 2 sentences. 1. During Cultural Day, girls are assigned to sing while boys are asked to carry chairs. Is this a fair arrangement? Why or why not? 2. A boy in class says that girls should not play basketball. What can you say to promote gender sensitivity? 3. A group of classmates laugh at someone's traditional clothing. What respectful action should you take? 4. A 10-year-old wants to learn about Muslim prayer practices. What could this interest show about the child? 5. Your class is voting on what story to perform, one from Luzon, Visayas, or Mindanao. What culturally sensitive decision can be made? Here's another activity directions. What conclusion can you draw from the following? Underline the letter of the best answer. 1. The church is decorated with flowers and other beautiful ornaments. The people are seated quietly as if waiting for something. The ladies in the middle aisle are wearing beautiful dresses while the men are in their tuxedos. What's happening in the church? The music is played and a beautiful woman in white marches down the aisle. The scene is in A baptism, B wedding, C procession, D funeral. That's in a wedding. Letter B. 2. There is an abundance of wet and dry goods. Abundance means there are plenty. The area is hot, slippery, and smelly. People are busy buying, selling, walking, and haggling. This place must be A market, B shopping mall, C office, D backyard. That's A market. 3. Josephine conducted a reading interest survey in her class. Out of 43 students, she found out that 20 liked to read fiction stories, 18 were fond of stories about famous men and women, and only 5 students liked to read about sports. We can conclude that A. Most of the students in the class prefer to read fiction stories. B. Doing a survey is fun. C. Josephine likes to read. The adventure stories is more interesting than fiction stories. Next, the British and Australians drive their cars on the left side of the road. The French drive on the right. So the British use cars with right-hand drive, and French use cars with left-hand drive. We can conclude that A. If a manufacturer wants to sell cars to British, he will offer cars with right-hand drive. B. Car manufacturing is a profitable business. C. If a producer, wants to sell cars to French, he will offer cars with right-hand drive. D. Car maintenance is expensive. I believe that's letter A. 5. The lawyer yawned often and talked angrily to himself. Sometimes at night he would sit down and write. He would write for a long time and then tear it all up in the morning. More than once he was heard to weep. We can conclude that A. The lawyer grew lonely and bored. B. The lawyer got tired. C. The lawyer felt weak. D. The lawyer felt disturbed. That's the lawyer felt disturbed. D. Thank you. That's all for English 5, Quarter 1, Week 4. Bye bye bye.